Hello and welcome back to the Monetizely channel. In this series, Ajit, my friend, and we chat, we discuss what is going on in this world of SaaS and look at it with a pricing strategy angle. And today, I want to discuss with Ajit and you an email that I received early this week from Claude. So let me just quickly
Who's
share my
Claude?
screen.
Who's Claude?
Claude is my good friend who helps me write a lot of code. I
Oh,
have Claude. I have Claude. Claude is a part of every. So while I do this, I just wanted to say I am now considering Claude as people. For a very long time, I have been considering Claude as people.
interesting. Because I think of Sonnet and Opus as different people.
Okay, I have not played with Opus that much. So
Hmm.
when I say, I'll tell you. Yesterday, I was doing some research on Claude. I was asking Claude how it prices X number of tokens. So I just said, how much does Claude 3.7 cost for tokens? And he's like, there is nothing called Claude 3.7. And I'm like, what? Then I realized I have to tell it Sonnet or Opus. So for me, Sonnet is Claude. And then for me, Claude is a person. For my kid,
Okay.
Claude, ChatGPT are people. So anyways,
Okay.
Ajit, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a screen grab of an email I received early this week. I'm sure a lot of people received this week. This was something that the AI enthusiast committee as in community discussed. So what basically it says the TLDR is that some restrictions on usage are coming. Now, if
But
you
I
see,
thought there are already many restrictions on usage with Claude.
yeah, that is because you and I are power users, and
Okay.
you and I are the kind of people who have been targeted with this. So
I
the
feel targeted now.
it
I
is
thought
the because
I didn't even think I was a power user.
no, yeah. The fundamental thing here is, see, you and I, because again, these days we talk to a lot of AI SaaS people, and this is something that we tell everyone is
Are they
that
trying to
you
say that we are lonely? Are they trying to say
not
that we
really,
don't have a
not
social
really.
life?
They are what fundamentally they are saying is Ajit and Akhil need to pay us more.
Oh,
Okay. And we are already paying them a lot more. They just
quite a
want a
lot.
little more.
Yeah.
So we already have our paid Claude subscription and we have multiple tools that use Claude API directly. But fundamentally, what they are saying is what they have acknowledged, what you and I have been very vocal about is AI companies have to be very careful. Just a small fraction of overusing customers can completely change the profitability dynamic.
Yeah.
So they in this email they say that most people will not get affected, but then only time will tell. But I want to right now as a user I am unhappy, skeptical because
I have some feelings,
yes,
but please
but
share your
as a
feelings.
pricing person I want to know how you're feeling. Do you think it's a
Yes.
good move in the
Yes.
long run?
So let's talk about that. See, when you have a regular SaaS product, regular application layer SaaS product, think of your Salesforce CRM. These products have 95 plus percentage gross margin on their product. The
True.
cost to deliver on a per customer basis is $1 or $2 or $3 per unit time. And for the same amount, the top line is around $165 or $100 or so on. So there is a huge gross margin because the costs, you have a one time cost and then the cost don't increase that much for simple hosting and application performance and so on. In this case, the costs are fairly high and they stay fairly high as users use their product. Now, as they come up with new models such as Opus, they are even more expensive. So the approach that they have, what they're trying to deal with is, hey, I'm going to give you this $16 plan or $20 plan or whatever the heck they have, but they are fixed the plan and they
Sure.
have not said you get so many credits.
True.
Because they are not saying you have credits, now they have to put capacity constraints. This is some sort of communism that has taken place. What would be the correct way of solving this problem? Most generative AI companies such as 11 Labs or other companies that bring generative products will have a credit based system and they will sell
Sure.
credit bundles. If you go to
Transparent.
11 Labs, they will have different models for their voice generation product. Different models are going to use different amount of compute resources. So therefore, the only way to offer this sort of product in this utility fashion, like PG&E, but think of it like PG&E is also selling you like milkshakes in one tube.
Sure.
That milkshake is going to be much expensive than your regular water, and they have so many varieties now. These people, the best way for PG&E to do that is a credit based system. So everybody in a generative AI world does credit based. Now companies like Anthropic, companies like OpenAI, and others, they cannot directly for their frontline products give you this credit based system. They can
Sure.
do that for their coding products, which we pay on a credit basis via their API. But their main products are distribution captures. They are trying to capture a large market right now. And they have done the math saying, we don't care about Ajit and Akhil. We want to capture and change user behavior from a large market who just like us and they use us little bit, because they're trying to capture the whole consumer segment and they're going going against OpenAI. So both of them have been losing a lot of money. Sam Altman recently was losing money on the $200 pro plan. These guys have been losing money, and they are realizing that they cannot continue to sink money at the completely, because this is billions and billions of dollars that they are losing. They are capturing users, but they are also losing a lot of money, and their capital will only go so far. So there are only two options: either you do this communism model, which will hit us but let them grow their total user base, or they can provide a credit based model like 11 Labs and other generative AI companies that will going to create friction in the sales process in these plans, and then people will have to start tracking their credits, and then people may say, you're not giving me enough credits for the amount of price, or so then people will go to OpenAI because they are not saying anything like that. So there is a game theoretic issue here. That is what.
Interesting. See, first of all, again, I really do not like the opacity that exists in their consumer facing product. As in, I just have to believe them, trust them when they say that you have over exceeded your limit. I do not know on any other product when I use their
It's
API, I can
completely black
see
box.
completely black box. So even if they had made this change behind the scenes and not sent us the email, right? Nothing would have changed fundamentally. Now, interesting thing about Claude is most of their money, unlike OpenAI, Anthropic, again, I say when I say Claude, Anthropic, unlike OpenAI, most of their money comes from API. 85% of their revenue comes from API, which is anyways already transparent, pay per use, and clear. So this move, the strategic value of this move is still unclear, other than just ruffling some feathers and shaking the tree. And as you said, as I hit more and more usage blocks, I might churn to OpenAI, or I might be forced on an upgrade path. Both of which do not seem like
But they're not
happy paths.
optimizing for you. They are not
Okay.
optimizing for you. You are a power user, you can figure out how to pay them via API. They are optimizing to get the most amount of customers in their funnel right now. And for them to get the most amount of customers in their funnel, they are not going to be affected by the limits like us because they don't use as much. But they need enough people to just start using them, and they cannot do something that is much different from OpenAI, or they lose this AI war. They are in this mass market AI war. They don't care about
Sure.
Akhil. They can afford to lose Akhil, or right, but they cannot lose Akhil's mom.
But here's the thing, right? If let us say hypothetically there is a unset limit of 30 hours of usage per week, and Akhil's mom and her friend group are people who would always be under 30 hours. Right. So acquiring new people, this specific step does not facilitate acquiring them. What it does, what I understand is, I do not tax their system a lot so that they can serve more people.
Yes, of course. Because they're losing money in this war with OpenAI.
Yes.
So they need to stop the bleeding somehow.
Yes. This makes sense. Again, what as a pricing person, what I see is at least they are honest about it, clear about it, and not cursor.
Right.
The cursor debacle has taught people the
I think
need.
if people on this video do not know what Cursor did, we have made another video about that.
Yes,
But
we will
basically
link it
Cursor
here
did
somewhere
something
else.
very similar, but they did not even write the right thing in their blog. In fact, they wrote the opposite thing of what they did in the blog, and that is a conversation for another video and another day. But yeah, that being said, this is not great. Why this gives Anthropic bad PR? Because we are people in the tech community, and the tech community has a loud voice also. So they would have known that this is going to come at a risk, and they may actually take it back if it creates too much of a PR problem also, right? But you have to a little bit empathize with them that they were probably between a rock and a hard place, because the right way to solve it is pretty clear. Everybody does it. You install a credit based system and just let people pay as they go.
Valuation. What is Anthropic's valuation right now? Okay. So right now, Anthropic has raised 5 billion at 170 billion valuation. Okay. If you are sitting at a 170 billion valuation, there is no hard place. There is no rock, there is no hard place.
No, there is a OpenAI, I believe, lost $3 to $5 billion last year, according to Mary Meeker's report. This year, OpenAI would have lost even more net amount of money, even though they are growing users at a breakneck pace. So you have to appreciate that they are in a complete insane war where this thing becomes the internet maybe in a year, right? And so they are between a rock and a hard place, because $5 billion is nothing.
Is not nothing.
No, it is nothing compared to the thing that they're trying to do.
Sure,
So they don't have enough money.
absolutely. See, that is absolutely right. The world is already changing. So we come from a generation when we say, "Let me Google this." My 7-year-old, she is already,
Right.
"Papa, why don't you ask ChatGPT?" She does
Right.
not know
Now,
Google yet.
now we have gone from doing a thing to a person.
Yes, yes.
It has gone from a
Yes,
verb
yes,
to a
yes,
person.
yes. And now they are getting insidious. Yesterday, OpenAI launched something called a study mode.
Yeah.
It is specifically targeted towards students. So yeah, this is here to stay. If they want us to pay more, it is the monopolistic thing, right? If you want Sonnet and only Sonnet works, which we have reached through trial and error, this ChatGPT does not work, DeepSeek does not work, Sonnet is what really does it for me, then I will
Yeah.
pay. We will pay.
Yeah.
We will pay. Not happy,
We'll pay.
but
We'll
we will
pay.
pay.
Yeah. And it is a poor, sucky user experience. And I think other people will also say that. But because we are monetization experts, had
Yes.
we been in the place of consulting with Anthropic, we could have likely done something like this as well.
Sure, sure. See,
Right?
this is again, if you can't raise cost prices, reduce your costs is the case.
Right.
That's what they're doing.
And
Awesome. This has
yeah. They're
this
still
has
solving the needs of the majority of the customers. So that is why
beautiful.
they put that in their blog, that
Yeah, again, see, it's a very the thing is, I as a pricing person, I understand. As a business person, I understand the need
but as a human
for
being
it.
I
But as a
dislike
user, receiving this email did not feel nice because see, here's
it.
the thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It
Even if
sounds like a Dear John letter.
even
It
if
sounds like a
I
Dear John
am
letter.
not in the 5% that is impacted, and this is
Right.
a very psychological. There are very few people in this world who will receive this email and immediately believe that yes, I will not be impacted because that is not
Right.
how the mind works. I will directly assume that I will definitely be in the 5% that get affected.
And then if you are in that user group, then it creates an identity issue that you've done something wrong.
Sure,
So this is why it's a communist sort of move.
sure. And
You
it's
have
the
you have overused the commons, and now
yes,
you must
yes,
go to
yes.
the AI gulags.
Yes, Ulux. So again, interesting thought, right? The way things are moving, right? AI, at least one or the other developed country would make AI a human right. Internet is already a human right in a lot
Hmm.
of Western countries. AI again, Altman, I think Zuckerberg, everyone wants to. Altman said, I want to give ChatGPT 5 to every human being on the earth for
So
free.
have you considered this name Altman and Bankman Fried? Have you not considered the person who has the biggest AI company? His last name is Altman.
Yeah. It's as if right. This is exactly how I remember the name. The Harry Potter woman describes her characters. She looks at what they are going to do in the movie in
Right.
the book, and
Right.
then reverse engineers the name. If you look at it with this angle, it seems Altman was destined to have
Right.
hold this power. Bankman
Right.
was destined to make that much money,
Right.
however way possible.
And then he got fried for it. Bankman.
See, here's the thing. From what I have learned is billionaires with a B, their frying is always temporary or
Hmm.
mostly for the show. If you have
Hmm.
a few kind of
Hmm.
money.
Hmm.
That being said, great. I'm happy. Some closure on my grief with the Claude email. We'll be back soon. We'll have
With
another episode of we don't know what, but
we don't
something
know what,
interesting.
but you'll hear from us.